emanating from deep under the earth, spreading across the globe at the speed of thought, changing the world one brain at a time. This is the Final Order Report from Green Brain Comics. Hello and welcome, Brainiacs. I am your host, Dan Merritt, the Chief Purchasing Officer at Green Brain Comics. Every week we bring you a curated list of comics and graphic novels that will be going to print next week and are scheduled to hit the shelves as soon as 4 weeks from now. We're here today to share this info and give you one final chance to subscribe and or special order before Sunday, March 10th at 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Green Brain Comics and the Final Order Report are powered by Comichub. Check out Comichub online at comichub.com. Mobile apps available for Android and iPhone. Start up an account online or sync up to your existing account. Order and pay securely online and make sure you never miss an issue. I will be using Comichub today to show you items from this week's Last Call for Confirmed Orders Carousel. Let's look at that real quick. Once you get signed in, you'll see these two banners, Aside Items and Shop Coming Soon. Check out Shop Coming Soon for all the carousels we will be using today. Okay, once you get into that view, you'll see for these carousels, the top one is the current search that will show you results for any search that you type into the top field, or will just be a rotating carousel of alphabetical items from the most recent catalogs. Below that is a carousel of previews. We have PDF previews of some of the upcoming comics, some of which we may be talking about today. The next carousel is for Last Call, the Final Order Cutoff Carousel. This is all of the things that we will be looking at today. Remember, these carousels run left to right in this view. Below that, we have next Wednesday's items. That's everything that we are expecting for the shelf on Wednesday, March 13th. Below that, we've got a couple of new additions. We have now event carousels. We have a carousel for all of the tie-in events for the House of Brainiac, tie-in to the Superman titles. Below that is the Blood Hunt event from Marvel Comics. That's the big summer crossover. And at the bottom we have the Fall of the House of X. This is the wrap-up to the Jonathan Hickman Krakoan era X-Men world. These are the remaining items that are on FOC or that will be up on FOC very soon. Okay, let's get back to our Last Call for Confirmed Orders Carousel. You'll see it on the top here. Once you get into this view, you'll see a wait cursor because my internet's garbage at home. Okay, once you see this, you'll see that everything is scrolling top to bottom. And we now have additional filters on the top for all of the alphanumeric listings, and we also have one for publisher, category, brand, genre, etc. We can filter by all of those filters. That's excellent. Okay, and the first thing that we will be looking at today is this thing that didn't work. Boo. All right. So the first thing that we'll be looking at today is the Final Order Report for younger readers. Oh boy. Okay, first thing that we will be looking at today is Archie and Friends Hot Rod Racing One Shot. This is a brand new story kicking off with this Need for Speed issue in the race to save face. First appearance of Daisy Thunder, a new character from the Archieverse. Then we have a jumbo comic digest for Archie. Always a lot of fun with a classic Dan Parent cover. And then we get this collection of strips from cartoonist Jamie Harper, co-written by Heather Lang and Jamie Harper, from Candlewick Press. This is called Super Dads, Animal Heroes. And then from Random House, we get a new original graphic novel by V.P. Anderson and artist Tatiana Hill. This called Blood City Rollers. This sounds pretty brutal, but it's about ice skating. It looks more like roller skating. All right, ice skater Mina is on a one-track path to Olympic gold and glory, that is, until she totally wipes out at her biggest competition and is kinda sorta kidnapped by undead kids on roller skates. Sucked into the high-stakes world of paranormal roller derby, she finds herself recruited by a squad of vampires who need a human player to complete their team just in time to save the league from losing it all. Blood City Rollers from Random House Graphics, V.P. Anderson and Tatiana Hill will be available on April 10th. You can get your copy reserved today, both in softcover and hardcover. And one of the more awesome things on FOC this week is the little golden book of the Planet of the Apes, featuring an adaptation by writer Jeff Smith and art by Patrick Spaziante. Oh my gosh. Follow the adventures of Taylor, Cornelius, Zira, and Dr. Zaius in this exciting retelling of the original 1968 Planet of the Apes. This collectible little golden book will thrill children ages 2 to 5 and or 57 and their parents with its kid-friendly reimaginings of one of the most amazing sci-fi films of all time. That wraps up our spotlight on younger readers. Let's roll right over to original graphic novels, folks. I did just have, I only had one manga to show you this week, so I rolled it into the OGNs here. We have this from manga publisher Kodansha. It's more of an art book celebrating Fairy Tale 100 Years Quest manga, volume 15. That's it. Fairy Tale 100 Years Quest. And from Drawn and Quarterly, we get a softcover printing of What It Is. This is a classic graphic novel how-to book and general all-around amazing textbook from Linda Berry. This in softcover for the first time, $24.95 with 216 pages. That will be available on May 7th. A Fox in My Brain. This is a pretty cool looking graphic novel from Fair Square Comics. In observance of Stress and Mental Awareness Months, do you know any cyclothmics? Good luck if you encounter them in your daily life, be it in your family or at work. Unpredictable, often irritable, loud, fast-paced, euphoric, sometimes sluggish, and sad. In 2 words, destabilizing and exhausting. A Fox in My Brain. This graphic novel from Lou Luby explores and gives you a positive take on mental health, a breath of fresh air that will give everyone an extra boost of self-love. From Fair Square Comics. And we get a couple from Fantagraphics here. This is the 7th voyage of the fabulous Furry Freak Brothers and Other Follies. This collects materials from 1974 and features material all from the creator all the way up until his death in 1982, from Gilbert Shelton, writer Dan Sheridan, who does some of the work on the inside. The Seventh Voyage of Fabulous Furry Freak Brothers. Also from Fantagraphics, reprinting classic Peanuts strips from 1991 through 1992 in softcover for the first time. Also from Fantagraphics, a collection of reprints from the EC Library, 27 horror stories by master comic artist Jack Kamen, including all 13 of his classic grim fairy tales. This Kamen's Calamity and Other Stories, hardcover from Fantagraphics with a focus on the work of Jack Kamen. Long awaited, folks, from Fantagraphics, this and cartoonist Emil Ferris. This is My Favorite Thing is Monsters. Set against the tumultuous political backdrop of late 1960s Chicago, My Favorite Thing is Monsters. Book 2 is the eagerly awaited conclusion to one of the most acclaimed graphic novels of the past decade, presented as the fictional graphic diary of a 10-year-old Karen Reyes as she tries to solve the murder of her upstairs neighbor, Anka Silverberg, a Holocaust survivor, while the interconnected stories of those around her unfurl. Book 2 is 412 pages for a cover price of $44.99 from Fantagraphics. Will be available on May 29th. Get your order in by Sunday to secure your copy. And finally, in our spotlight on original graphic novels is from IDW, this called In Perpetuity. The afterlife is just as the ancient Greeks imagined, an endless twilight where time stands still in perpetuity and shades have nowhere to go. This from writer-artist Peter and Maria Hoey is a literary crime fantasy supernatural graphic novel from IDW, in print for the first time, 208 pages for $19.99. And that wraps up our look at original graphic novels. Today is Rumpus Room, collecting the miniseries recently completed from Mark Russell and artist Ramon Rosanes, with this Tony Harris cover. It's all 6 issues in one from AWA Publishing. Then we get Sereno from Comics Experience. This is one of the early works from newer superstar Luciano Vecchio. This collects the first 3 issues and never before released Pride special exclusive to this collection. Then we get Canary. This collects the miniseries from Scott Snyder and Dan Panosian. I think that just wrapped up this week. This softcover will be available on June 26th. Then we get a trade paperback collecting the Titans Volume 1, the first 5 issues from the ongoing series over at DC Comics from Tom Taylor and Nicola Smith, with this Nicola Smith cover. Very nice. Then we get the Enfield Gang Massacre. This Western comic tells the dark origin of that Texas Bloods Ambrose County, as only Jacob Phillips and Chris Condon can. This collects that 6-issue miniseries. It will be available on April 10th from Image Comics. Also from Image Comics, we get Fine Print Volume 2 from Stefan Sejic. This is more of a fantasy erotic graphic novel. We will be placing it over on the Romance Erotica shelf. Also kind of erotica is Kaptara Volume 2 from Chip Zdarsky and Kagan McLeod. This collects the recent miniseries Kaptara Universal Truths. Oh, and here we get the trade paperback collection of Terror War, the recently wrapped up miniseries from local creators Saladin Ahmed and Dave Acosta. Lots of fun. I love this story. The art was fantastic. Characters were awful cool. And the monsters. Oh, the monsters. Next up from Titan Publishing, Scarlet Couture, The Munich Files from Des Taylor and Ken Lashley, who delivered this cover. And that wraps up our spotlight on trade paperbacks. Oh gosh, this is really happening right now. Okay, cool. Yeah, let's hit this. This is from DC Comics. We got final printings of Justice League versus Godzilla versus Kong. Are interconnecting covers from Christian Deuce and Louis Guerrero. This is number 1. We got a number 2, a number 3, and a number 4. These all interconnect and are touted as final printings for Justice League versus Godzilla versus Kong. Taking orders on those through Sunday afternoon at 5 p.m. DC Comics also has the bold move of a new printing of Mad Magazine number 36. This abomination features features a very popular mimetic image from the usual gang of idiots. If you're interested, please get your orders in. Okay, from IDW, we get a new printing of TMNT The Last Ronin. The sequel, Re-Evolution number 1. This new printing has a cover by Ben Bishop. Ooh, we get a second printing of The Last Mermaid from Derek Kirk Kim, featuring a recolored front cover. Ooh, and here we get some new printings of Transformers. This is some cool stuff here. This is the 5th printing of Transformers number 1, featuring a new cover by Fia Bratukin. Oh yeah, okay. It focuses in pretty good. The hyper detail of this artist is renowned, gracing many a variant cover. It's very cool to get him in on the Transformers Energon Universe variants. This is a new printing of Transformers number 1. We got this color cover, and then we got a black and white version that is very cool. It's gonna be migraine inducing, but love it. We also get a 4th printing of Transformers 2 by Nicola Sameja. A 3rd printing of Transformers 3 by Peril and Pham Chong. A 2nd printing of Transformers 4. We got an A cover and a B cover, both by Jason Howard. Okay, and that's funny how this got in there. All right. I guess I won't be talking about this in the previous section, but check it out. Avengers Epic Collection, Volume 11. This collects the Avengers from, wow, back in like 79, 80. Yeah. Featuring annual number 10, one of my favorites. And beautiful art and a cover by George Perez. All right, let's get back into the new printings here. We get a third printing of Ultimate Black Panther number 1. I believe our second printings are close to being sold out right now. So if you want to get this new cover by Peach Momoko, get your orders in by Sunday at 5. A fourth printing of Ultimate Spider-Man number 1. We got plenty of third printings, so if you're really fond of this cover, I might advise that you get your orders in for it. This art by Marco Cicchetto. I think this is an interior page. We get a second printing of What If Venom number 1, where he takes over She-Hulk. Yeah. And we get a new facsimile of Uncanny X-Men 130 featuring the first appearance of the Dazzler. Wow. This was classic comics back in my day, folks. Also get some Hellfire Club machinations, and you get some Black Queen, too. Dang, you get all the good stuff. X-Men number 130 facsimile edition also comes in this foil variant cover. Do be advised, this cover price here of $4.99 is not accurate. I will be charging $10 for this foil cover. $4.99 is how much I get charged. There it is, folks. Our focus on new printings. And then we got Little Black Book number 2 with a Francesco Francavilla cover. I don't think we've gotten number 1 yet, so buyer beware. We did get number 1 of this, Batman, The Batman First Night. Number 2 is scheduled to ship on April 9th. FOC is this Sunday. Blasphemous number 2. This new series from Distillery did pretty well for us. This is from Mirka Andolfo. I got this Mirka Andolfo cover. And then we got Golgotha Motor Mountain number 2, which also debuted this last week from Matthew Ehrman and Robbie Rodriguez. Very cool art. Very cool body horror. Check this out. Golgotha Motor Mountain number 2. We got Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, The Untold Destiny of the Foot Clan number 2. This mini-series has yet to debut. If you're interested in it, get your order in. And then we got a number 2 of the Turtles, Last Ronin Re-Evolution. This book did real well. Let's see, we got a second print incoming for number 1. This number 2 is set to ship on May 15th with this Ben Bishop cover. Last Mermaid number 2 gets a April 3rd release date from Derek Kirk Kim. Very cute axolotl cover. Aliens What If number 2 from Paul Rudd. Is that the guy's? I can't remember the actor's name. Anyways, yeah, featuring this what if story. What if Carter Burke lived? Ms. Marvel Mutant Menace gets a number 2 with this cover by Carlos Gomez. Remember, this series is written by Ms. Marvel actor Iman Vellani. Symbiote Spider-Man 2099 number 2 from Peter David and Roger Antonio. And Ultimate X-Men number 2. This this series is written and drawn by Peach Momoko. Number 1 did great. It's already going into multiple printings. You might want to make sure you get your order in for this. And finally, from Marvel, we get Weapon X-Men number 2, exploring a multiverse of Wolverines from Christos Engage and Yildiray Cinar with his Daigru on cover. And finally, X-Men 97 number 2, featuring a cover by Todd Knock, interiors by Salva Espin, and written by Steve Fox, continuing the X-Men 97 animated adventures. Our first new series is a 6-issue miniseries from Ahoy Comics called Dead Weights. This is written by Tyrone Finch with art, and this cover by Sebastian Pires. Valiant Comics are back from Alien Entertainment. This new one-shot is Punk Mambo Punk Witch Project 1. The Punk Witch Project, pardon me, from Peter Milligan and Andres Ponce. This also has a B cover by Andres Ponce. Here's an interesting one from Dynamite Entertainment. We get a new, much more horror-themed Red Sonja miniseries. This is written by famed horror writer Steve Niles, with interior art by Alessandro Amoruso and a cover by Joshua Middleton. After landing in jail following a night of drunken revelry, Red Sonja hears an outlandish story from a fellow inmate. Deep in the mountains lies a dead city in a valley with no name, abandoned and forgotten. Its fields and streets are littered with the bones of 2 armies, all destroyed by a curse from a warlock who has long since vanished, along with his vast treasure. From Steve Niles and rising star Alessandro Amoroso, Red Sonja Empire of the Damned features this Joshua Middleton cover, beautiful Joseph Michael Linsner cover, this very nice negative cover by John Tyler Christopher, a cosplay cover from a camera. I don't know. Oh, and also we get a foil version of the Red Sonja Empire of the Damned Joshua Middleton cover. Check it out. Available on April 3rd. Get your orders in by Sunday. Oh, this one's going to be a little hard to see. Okay, Spectrograph. I think I might have showed you this last week, but we'll give you a quick reminder. James Tynion IV and Christian Ward have taken this very big, majestic project over to Distillery in their black label format, large edition. This works perfect for James Tynion to tell a very cool story, and Christian Ward to give his weird neon art take to it. Spectrograph number 1 available on April 24th with this cover by Christian Ward, B cover by Martin Simmons. Yeah, I definitely showed you this before. Good stuff. Then we get from IDW the landmark 150th issue of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. This final issue of that ongoing series is a double-sized celebration. And here at the end, we'll return to the start. Donatello has been searching for his future self to understand how he can fight Armageddon. Now, knowing where he is, or should we say when he is, Donatello is racing to his past to convene with his future. Yeah, this final issue is written by Sophie Campbell with interior art by Vincenzo Federici. You got this A cover by Sophie Campbell, who has been a veteran writer of this series and hands in some beautiful art every now and then. We got a cover by Vincenzo Federici, a Kevin Eastman cover on B, a C cover by Dan Duncan, and this cool cover D by Jesse Lonergan. All wrapping up this landmark issue of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles ongoing 150. From Mad Cave, we get a new series called When the Blood Has Dried from writer Gary Maloney and artist Becca Carey, with this cover by Marco Rudy. And this cover by Declan Shelby. Very nice. And from Magma, a new publisher that has just pulled in the famed writing team of Jackson Lansing and Colin Kelly for this book, Principles of Necromancy. Sorry, Katie, I mispronounced it again. Principles of Necromancy, with art by Eamon Winkle. While brave knights and dangerous monsters wage endless war, business is booming for Dr. Jacob Eyes, a traveling physician whose arcane remedies are the closest thing to magic the world knows. Those gruesome miracles are only stepping stones for Dr. Eyes' ultimately ungodly goal to overcome death itself. From Jackson Lansing, Colin Kelly, and Eamon Winkle comes this cool new series from new publisher Magma Comics, The Principles of Necromancy, with this B cover by Jana Adersdorf. In the lone entry to the first issue club, Marvel doesn't even give us a first issue. This is a first, I guess we'll call this the first part of a new story. After the events of Web of Spider-Man, give me that. There it is. After the events of Web of Spider-Man #1, Chasm is on the loose. Spider-Man better track down his erstwhile clone and Hollow's Eve ASAP. We're getting closer to Amazing Spider-Man #50. That's right, folks. This is a new storyline starting in the ongoing Amazing Spider-Man, but it really is just a reason to show off this amazing tribute cover from the Disney What If variant theme, spoofing the West Coast Avengers #1. This from artist Alessandro Pastrovicchio. And it also has a very cool Peach Momoko cover. Oh, the cutest little spider. Moving right along, we got a new series from Oni Press. This is Akogon, Brutalizer of Gods. In an age thought forgotten, when man, monster, and divine all strode the earth, a lone warrior emerges to test the immortality of the cruel gods who would deal destruction with impunity. He is a one-man reckoning that stands in defiance of his divine masters with a sword in hand and a thirst for god blood. His name is Akogon, the Brutalizer. In the tradition of Robert E. Howard's Conan the Barbarian, Stan Lee and Jack Kirby's Thor, and the best-selling God of War franchise, superstars in the making Murawe Ayodele and Doton Akande, the creative duo behind I Am Iron Man and Moon Knight Black, White, and Blood, usher in a new epic of African dark fantasy on the ancient continent of Alkebulan, with a mythic cycle of cosmic destiny and unrelenting warfare. Akogon, Brutalizer of Gods, from writer Murawe Ayodele and artist Doton Akande, who does this A cover. This B cover is done by Ramon Villalobos. zone in on that. That's pretty cool. And we get this C cover by Gray Williamson from Oni Press, Akogun, Brutalizer of Gods. From Scout, we get this first of a 4-issue series from Scout Europe called Loop from El Torres and Ruben Gill. Ruben Gill cover on A and B. And also from Scout Comics, first of 3 issues, Papa Duke from Amy DeLong and artist Gershon Fiamore with this Naomi Griffin cover. And let's see, we're almost wrapping it up here. I think we're going to close it out with Image Comics. They've got a huge release, a huge list on FOC this week, and the first of which is Hack Slash Kill Your Idols. This is a one-shot by writer Tim Seeley with interior art by Stefano Caselli, and Tim Seeley does this A cover. This looks like... Let's see. Well, let's just get right into it. Slash Hunters Casey Hack and Vlad are back with a one-shot collecting the all-new Kill Your Idols serial from the Image 30th Anniversary Anthology series. When Cassie and Vlad encounter an unusual slasher, they're led to the front door of Cyborg, former super soldier, super patriot. Sure. Now the horror hunters are drawn into a race against time alongside a lost super team in a tour of the gritty underbelly of the Image universe, featuring art from the original Hack Slash creative team, Stefano Caselli and Tim Seeley, who turned in this A and B cover by by Steve Kurth. Right. Okay, we're going to end pretty strong here. We got a new story arc from the Sacrificers, this series from Rick Remender with interior art by Max Fiumara. Kicks off this new story arc. Alone and dangerously close to death, Saluna is on the run, chased through a brutal, unknown landscape as the absence of power has triggered massive world destruction that not even a god can contend with. Rick Remender and Max Fiumara fire up the next chapter of the supercharged hit series Sacrificers. Okay, here it is, folks. Ghost Machine, the big sub-imprint over at Image that made a big splash earlier this year with the Ghost Machine one-shot kicking off this whole shared universe, architect by Jeff Johns, Brad Meltzer, and a bajillion other fantastic creators, including artist Gary Frank, who teams up with Jeff Johns for this all-new ongoing series of GEIGER. It starts here, folks. This critically acclaimed team returned to the nuclear wasteland of GEIGER for an all-new ongoing series starring the violent and unpredictable Glowing Man. Leaving his world behind, Tarek Geiger now walks the radioactive roads of the former United States with his two-headed wolf Barney. As his enemies doggedly pursue him, Geiger discovers salvation from the unlikeliest of foes. But what secrets does this potential ally hold that could help Geiger? And exactly how many people are after the Glowing Man and why? Don't miss the vital, action-packed chapter in the unnamed saga, GEIGER #1, from Jeff Johns and Gary Frank. That will be available on April 3rd. With this B cover by Ivan Rice and Dan Mickey. Also, same FOC, same release day is REDCOAT #1, a series premiere by Jeff Johns and Brian Hitch. Immortal, mercenary, kind of a tool. Meet Simon Pure, the newest unnamed hero, created by comic all-stars Jeff Johns and Brian Hitch. British redcoat and all-around rogue Simon mysteriously became immortal in 1776 after a run-in with the clandestine cabal known as the Founding Fathers, which included George Washington, John Hancock, and many other prominent American Revolutionary War leaders. Since that fateful day, Simon has led a life of adventure and avarice, rubbing elbows and sometimes fists with many of history's most renowned figures, including his nemesis, Benedict Arnold. Oh, his nemesis, Benedict Arnold, Albert Einstein, and Annie Oakley, and many more. One thing they all agree on, they never want to see him again. This first issue is 34 pages for only $3.99 from Eisner Award-winning creator and close personal friend Jeff Johns, with art by Brian Hitch, who turned in this A cover. It also features a B cover by Ivan Rice and Danny Mickey. And finally, also from Jeff Johns and Ghost Machine, comes the third and final premiere this week of ROOK Exodus. From the celebrated team behind the smash hit Batman, three Jokers reunite for an all-new science fiction series. Hundreds of years from now, the man known as Rook was once a simple farmer who fled the crumbling Earth for a new life on the planet Exodus, a terraformed planet where all of nature, including its imported animal population, was completely controlled by humans called wardens. But when Exodus World Engine failed, the wardens' power fell into the wrong hands, creating chaos and mass evacuation for those who can afford it. The rest, like Rook, must scavenge for an escape vessel. As the war for control of what's left of Exodus begins. 44 pages of story for only $3.99. This is ROOK Exodus. We got an A cover by Jason Fabic and a B cover by Ivan Rice and Danny Mickey. All three of these new series debut from Image Comics and Ghost Machine on April 3rd. Get your orders in this Sunday by 5 p.m. for either the A or the B cover on all three of these series. And there it is, folks. Let's wrap it up here. We've got Okay, Final Order Report. Thank you so much for joining me today on Final Order Report. Remember, the deadline for Final Order for all your final orders is this Sunday, March 10th at 5 p.m. Please remember to confirm the items in your cart as soon as you can, please. Join me back here next weekend for more Final Order Report, keeping you up to date on all of the new releases that you can order ahead of time. And we will be back here on YouTube and Facebook and wherever else we can post it on Tuesday night at 6:30 for Brain Scan, our fun, energetic tour of Green Brain Comics on the eve of New Comic Book Day. And then on Monday, March 18th, is our 54th Brain Candy, featuring musician Matt Fredericks, poetry by LaShawn Phoenix Moore, prose from Tony Muggs, and the visual art of Danny Little. That's all courtesy of Green Brain Comics and the Emerging Writers Network. It's absolutely free on the third Monday of every month. Monday, March 18th is Brain Candy. Don't miss out, folks. And before I let you go, let me show you a little bit about this month's show. That's right, folks. Do check out Brain Candy this Monday, March 18th. It's coming up real soon, a week from Monday. Okay, and that does it for me today. Thanks for joining us on Final Order Report. We'll be back next week. Stay up to date on all of our happenings. We are Green Brain Comics on Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram, and on X we are at Green Brain CMX. All of the links to our shopping cart, website, and Comic Hub are below in the description. We are spreading the love of comic books and graphic novels from the heart of East Downtown Dearborn since 1985. Feed your brain at Green Brain Comics. Thanks for watching, folks. Emanating from deep under the earth, spreading across the globe at the speed of thought, changing the world one brain at a time. This is the Final Order Report from Green Brain Comics.